She's Ars Nova's co-founder, founding board chair, and co-chair of tonight's event. Oh my. Please give it up for Jenny Steingart.
Oh, that made me so happy to see those boys. It is an incredible honor to stand before you tonight as we reflect on the extraordinary journey that has led us to this moment. As many of you know, Ars Nova was founded in the wake of tragedy, a moment that changed my life and the lives of everyone involved in this theater. On April 9th, 1997, I lost my brother Gabe unexpectedly. He was only 26 and a talented and passionate music producer. His passing left me shattered, but it also sparked something in me that I couldn't ignore. That week, as we sat Shiva at my parents' apartment, I had an experience that changed the course of everything. A member of the catering team, someone who had been there listening to the stories shared about Gabe over the week, came to speak to me. "I'm a fine artist," she said. "I'm a painter." Catering was her get-by job. Listening to the stories about Gabe's life had made her see the fleeting nature of time. So with that realization, she said, "I spent all week, every night when I left here, painting." She showed me a new series of work she had created during that week, all born from the grief of losing someone she had never known. The idea that my brother's life and death could inspire someone else's work in a different medium was something that I hadn't yet comprehended. That realization, in part, set my best friend and later my husband, John Steingart, and me on our path to create Ars Nova. We envisioned a place that would serve as a home for artists, a clubhouse of sorts, particularly those at early stages of their careers. We wanted a place where young visionaries could take risks, fail and fail and fail again, so that they could eventually thrive. We started with nothing but big dreams. We were young. John and I were only in our early 30s, and though we were passionate producers, we didn't have the experience to run a not-for-profit theater or build or manage a building. We also knew that we needed someone with deep vision to light the way artistically. Thankfully, our brilliant friend Mandy Hackett was working out of the Ars Nova building, helping us to create what would later become some of our signature programming. Because she was in the weeds with us, she knew exactly what kind of a person we needed in that role. Basically, a unicorn. She said, "There is literally only one person who can do this job, and his name is Jason Eagan." Mandy, you are the best yenta in the business, because if it weren't for you, we would not all be sitting here tonight honoring and celebrating our wonderful unicorn. So, buckle up, Eagan. Let me rewind to when we first met Jason. John and I were sitting down with him, technically interviewing him for the artistic director job at Ars Nova. But honestly, after the first 10 minutes, it stopped feeling like an interview, and it was more like a jam session. We sat for hours talking about art, about the artists who lit us up, and the kind of work that made us feel something. At the end of our marathon first date, John and I gave Jason an assignment, because that's how we rolled in interviews in those days: surprise homework and an immediate request for free labor. We asked him to go off and make a list. Give us the 20 artists you'd program tomorrow if this place were your playground. Doesn't matter if they're famous, if they're emerging, if they're totally unknown, just dream. Jason came back with a list that made our heads spin, and it was a lot more than 20 artists. Many of the names overlapped with ours. Rufus Wainwright, for one, obs. But he also brought us a solid 20, 30 additional artists we had never even heard of. John and I looked at each other incredulously, and we were both simultaneously thinking, who the hell is this guy? And at the same time, we just knew Jason was our tribe. He was our people. He spoke our language in italics, bold, and with perfect kerning. And then the work began. Over the 21 years that followed, we produced thousands of productions and one-offs together. Thousands. A cursory look back into our archives shows 89 distinct shows in 2006 alone. Some years there were many more, some years fewer, but all of it was done with passion and a little bit of madness behind it. And it was part of the world that Jason helped to build. Joyful, brave, weird, smart, and always full of heart and laughter. There are so many memories to choose from, and it felt impossible to have to limit the cache of amazing stories I want to share about Jason. But since this gala isn't a sleepover, I can offer you a snapshot of Jason's aesthetic, his boldness, his personal flair, his refusal to do anything halfway. So let's time travel for a moment back to year one of the reign of Eagan. Picture, if you will, our tiny 99-seat black box theater. The theater where we regularly joked, well, you're never going to come out humming the sets. Yet, in Mr. Eagan's inaugural year, we produced not one, but two shows that required the installation of a trapeze. A trapeze. Let that sink in. Not long after year one, he asked if he could throw his birthday party at the Ars Nova building. Jason was turning 30 and really wanted to celebrate it there. So John and I said, sure, sounds like fun. We figured we'd show up, drink some wine, maybe there'd be a cabaret set or two. Cut to the two of us walking across 54th Street towards 11th Avenue and spying a red carpet outside the building. Not a welcome mat, folks, like a full-on Hollywood premiere level red carpet, Klieg lights, the whole nine. And yes, there were bouncers. Inside, every floor of the building had a different theme. And this was 2005, by the way, so he was way ahead of the whole immersive theater game. Jason obviously made at least 3 or 4 costume changes that night. It was Studio 54 meets performance art meets birthday cake. And it was, in short, perfect. And it was just the beginning. Jason is, and always has been, the living embodiment of New York Magazine's culture matrix. He lives at the intersection of opera and downtown drag. He has a background in puppetry, classical music, opera, and theater, and he's also the person every artist loves and wants to go and get a drink with. He's the person who tells the artist, I think you're thinking too small. But beyond the curation and the creation, what really sets Jason apart is the kind of human being that he is. He is hilarious, dry, cutting, sometimes even a little bit wicked, but he's never cruel. He calls it like it is. He's generous, collaborative, shockingly ego-free. For Jason, it's always been about helping artists and ideas to become the best versions of themselves. He doesn't need to be the center of the room. He is the room. He sets the tone, holds the space, lays the foundation, builds the scaffolding, and then invites everyone else to shine. I also want to shout out my wonderful friend and co-host of tonight's event and life partner to Jason, Zach Shaffer. Zach, you are one of the reasons that Ars Nova is what it is today. because of your love and support of Jason, your willingness to be a part of the Ars Nova Widow Society. If you know, you know. I want to thank you for sharing him with us all of these years. I love you. We have had thousands of moments together, some completely insane and some deeply profound. We've had nights in emergency rooms, funerals and weddings, vacations, and I can't tell you the story here about my oldest son's bris, but it's one of Jason's faves. But if you're welcome. But if I do nothing else tonight, I really just want to convey how special a human being Jason is. It's the reason he's such a phenomenal Sherpa to artists. It's the reason Ars Nova became what it became. We really were just three kids, the three J's, as we like to call ourselves, who had no clue what we were doing when we started. We just went on instinct. And while John and I may have laid down the first blueprint of this place, Jason is the one who ran with it, printed it, painted it, and embroidered it on every fiber of the organization's being. Before I close, I want to share one more thing. In that very first year together, John, Jason, and I each wrote down 5 goals for Ars Nova that we each had. Benchmarks for success, dreams of what things could become. For goal number 1, I wrote, one day, I want someone to say, I feel like seeing something tonight, and I don't know what's playing at Ars Nova, but I'm gonna go get a ticket anyway, because whatever it is, it's going to be interesting. That was the dream, that this place would become that place. A place where curiosity was enough, where trust in our voice, our taste, our curation, Jason's curation, was so strong that people would come even when they didn't know what they were coming for. And you know what? That dream came true because of Jason. So tonight, I want to say thank you, Jason, for your vision, for your madness, for your tastes, for your jokes, for your quiet magic, and your beautiful, steady hand, and for being our compass, our North Star, our co-conspirator, and most of all, for being our dear, dear friend. You didn't just build a theater, you built a home, and how lucky we all are. I love you so much. Thank you.